Hey guys, long time no see. I know. We're near the end of 2025 and I haven't done a video all year at all. And it's only because I've been busy with life, work, that kind of stuff. And even if I wasn't, I got pretty lazy, or I'm exhausted from life stuff, or I just feel unmotivated and chose not to do any videos, which is kind of part of being lazy. But funny enough, I actually did try to do a video for this year, but I wasn't really a fan of how it turned out, so I scrapped it. But for this video, we will be taking a look at my top 5 figures of 2025. The only reason I'm doing 5 is because I did not buy a lot this year. And the majority of this list is Marvel Legends and DC and one other figure. So that's your hint or spoiler, I guess. And oh, whoops. But what you see here, they're not on the list. But yeah. and only because these guys are not from 2025, other than the Emma Frost and Psylocke. But everyone else, they're not. So they're not part of this list. I'm trying to make this list of figures that were from 2025 and I bought it in 2025, if that makes sense. So yeah, but if some of these figures on this list is not from 2025, then my bad, but they're my favorite figures of the year for 2025. So yeah, there's my update for the channel, and hopefully I see you guys in 2026 with more videos along the way. So let's get started, shall we? So number 5, we'll go to the Marvel Legends Gamerverse Spider-Man 2, Marvel Spider-Man 2, Insomniac Spider-Man 2, PS5 Black Cat. And the reason why I chose this as number 5 is because I really wanted a Black Cat figure that's very articulated, and I understand the design of this figure will turn off some people just because most Marvel Legends collectors are comic book collectors, which I understand. I would love a new updated comic book Black Cat. I was gonna say Black Widow, but Black Cat in like the updated articulation. Pretty much what we got in the retro version, but updated articulation. You know, the 90s Black Cat, which is my Black Cat I grew up with. But this figure is great. I basically chose this figure because she was very fun to mess around with, take photos with Spider-Man. I just needed a Black Cat to pair up with my Spider-Man, and I think this figure is really cool. I know some people aren't a fan of the design, some people did not like how the direction of the character was taken in Spider-Man 2 or whatever, but as a figure alone, it's awesome. It's, you know, sculpted details, you know, everything is sculpted with just black plastic and white paint, but it works. I like this a lot. The likeness is really good. She looked like she popped out of the game. So personally, for me, this is a winner. Or at least on my number 5 list. So yeah, the only downside to this, I believe she goes for $30 because that's how much I paid for this Black Cat. So not a fan of the price, but for the figure and the accessories that she comes with, it's fine. Top 5, or number 5. On to the next. Number 4 will be the Marvel Legends, Hasbro Marvel Legends Gamerverse Marvel vs. Capcom Wolverine. This Wolverine was a Wolverine I've been waiting for Hasbro to do ever since they had the license, ever since, I don't know, Toy Biz did Marvel Legends. I wanted a 6-inch scale Marvel vs. Capcom Wolverine because I grew up with the Marvel vs. Capcom games, and a lot of the designs of these characters, in my opinion, are the definitive designs for me. So yeah, I love the exaggerated, you know, ears, I guess, on his mask, the exaggerated boot, like fin spikes things, and these large exaggerated claws. It's very cool. It's very anime, very video game, very fighting game like, of course, because it's from Marvel vs. Capcom. And the double ball, you know, articulation at the waist and at the torso. Every Marvel Legends figure needs to come standard with this, because while this Black Cat has like that little waist crunch thing, I'm not a fan of that. I was never a fan of that. I felt like every figure, even the female ones, should have this type of articulation and have good range as well. So yeah, everything about this Wolverine figure, it's nice. It's great. You know, he became like my default Wolverine for my X-Men collection or setup. So yeah, love it. That's my number 4. Number 3. Number 3 will be more of a simple figure because it's a repaint from a last year's action figure, and it is the Marvel Legends, I believe, fan channel Fantastic Four uniform costume She-Hulk. And the reason why I put number 3 is because this is my favorite Marvel Legends of the year. I took the most pictures with this figure. I took, you know, this is the type of figure I messed around with because it kind of solves most of the problems that I had with last year's She-Hulk figure, which I still think is a good figure too. The She-Hulk figure is a good figure, but you see the miscolored joints, they fixed it on this one. The lack of accessories, they fixed it on this one. They gave this Fantastic Four She-Hulk emotive hands, like a peace sign, a thumbs up, grabbing hands, 2 dumbbells. While this one just has grabbing hands and a broken gun. And that's really it. And I also have to mention she comes with an alternate head with a ponytail, which I don't remember her having that look while in this uniform, but it doesn't matter because this is the She-Hulk I loved reading. This is the John Byrne She-Hulk with the John Byrne head and the Fantastic Four uniform. I know in my last review I've had people in the comments fight over each other that this is the John Buscema She-Hulk because of the uniform, but the head sculpt, it's clearly John Byrne because John Buscema doesn't really draw She-Hulk this way, at least from what I remember. But yeah, but right here, number 3, easily one of my favorite figures, and the price is $25.99 because I bought this at Big Bad Toy Store. This was $24.99. The value in this wasn't really there, and I'm always going to criticize Hasbro's prices, and McFarlane is becoming an issue, you know, as well. I mean, it's not just McFarlane, it's every company that decides to rob us, but yeah. But there you go, this She-Hulk, great figure, highly recommend it, my favorite Marvel Legends for this year. And yeah, so on to number 2. Number 2 will be a McFarlane DC Multiverse action figure. And number 2 will go to the Batman Begins Batman. Yeah. I love this costume. This is my favorite costume of all the Dark Knight trilogy. I don't care how impractical it was or how they explained in the film. This was just the better design than the other one, than the Dark Knight suit. But yeah, this McFarlane Batman Begins figure is great. Love this figure a lot. And I understand that there are some inaccuracies, especially with this mesh right here, because the costume never had it. And the reason why they have this mesh is because he reused parts from the Dark Knight figure. I'll pull out the Dark Knight figure right now. As you guys can see, they reused the knee joint because the Batman Begins did not have these knee pads. That's only made for the Dark Knight figure, but they gave it to this Batman Begins, which is why, as you can see, there's like a mesh right there. It has like that mesh material, which obviously the Batman Begins suit never had, but the Dark Knight did. Another reuse is the elbow pads, because the Dark Knight also has these elbow pads with the mesh on it. So yeah, this is why McFarlane made this compromise design choice to give the mesh to make the figure flow better, because he reused the knee joints and elbow joints from the Dark Knight. But you know, for the most part, the aesthetic, the design is still there. And this is one of the better Batman Begins figures, or at least the more affordable ones, at least to my knowledge, because, and we don't get a lot of Batman Begins action figures. When you look back at all the Dark Knight trilogy products, I guarantee you we get more Dark Knight suit Batmans than we do the Batman Begins, which sucks because I love the Batman Begins suit. I prefer it over the Dark Knight suit. But yeah, and yes, I did make a modification on the cape. Like, I bought this from a seller on eBay, and because I don't like the material of the cape that came with this figure. It had like that ribbon, almost like paper-like material, almost like a bootleg silk material, which I hated. I don't know why McFarlane made that change, because the cape material, you know, from the Batman 6-pack is a really good material. It's the definitive material for me for McFarlane's usage of cloth capes, but when he changed up the material, I personally did not like it. I thought it sucked, so I decided to modify it, and it became a better figure. So yeah, I should not have to do that, but I chose to. I feel like for most of you guys, if you guys had no problem with the rubber or ribbon like material, I think it should be fine. So, but for me, I wasn't a fan of it, but once I made this change, it became pretty much my second favorite figure of the year. So number 2. Number one is a character that's really important to me because I grew up playing as this character in video games, and it took like what, 30 plus years to finally get at least an articulated action figure of this character. I know this character had a 1/6 scale version and a Minimates version, but everything else has always been vinyl figures, statues, or whatever. And number 1, the figure of this year will be the ActionFigures Nina Williams, because like I said, this was an important character. She's my main. Tekken 3 was like my first Tekken game, and it's still my favorite to this day. And even though this is the ActionFigures Tekken 8 version of Nina, not really my ideal costume, but I'll take it, you know. I'll take it because we don't get a lot of Tekken figures, especially articulated ones, and we don't get a lot of Nina Williams merch. And you know, when I bought this figure, it almost felt like a holy grail, just because I finally get an articulated version of Nina Williams. And I know when they first announced this figure, one of my worries was this dress, and she can somewhat kick up like that, but the dress gets in the way, and I knew that was one of my worries of this figure. And oops, her waist popped. But yeah, pretty much this was a figure that I was excited to have and excited to own. And I'm not gonna lie, when I had this figure, I wanted to quit collecting because I finally got my dream character as an action figure, which is Nina Williams. But I'm hoping some other company down the road, whether it's Figure Arts, I'm hoping Jada Toys, just because I want to pay an affordable Nina Williams rather than 80 bucks for this, even though it's still worth it. I would love to get, you know, like a more classic looking Nina Williams, but this one is fine. Like, she comes with 2 guns, sunglasses, couple faces, the usual Figure Arts accessories. And yeah, this was my number 1 figure of the year. Like, I just messed around with this, and then I'm sure throughout this video I would have Instagram pictures posted up, you know, in this video for you guys to see. But yeah, this is my number 1 figure of the year. And yeah, thanks for watching my top 5 action figures of the year, and I look forward to hoping to make more videos for 2026, and hopefully you guys come along for the ride. So yeah, 2025 felt like a stagnant year for me, but overall, for the most part, not as bad as I thought. You know, I still think 2024 was a better year than this year, but looking forward to 2026.